feeling do you want to capture in your photographs? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. How to create powerful emotional portraits with 3 techniques that will transform your photography. Technique number 1, authentic connection. Most photographers, when they go in to do a photo shoot, the first thing that they will always do is that they will pick up their camera. I did it when I was first starting out. That was the first thing that I would always do, was just pick up my camera. But if you actually put your camera down and you spend the time to talk with your client about who they are and an understanding of their story, you begin to build a trust with them and you begin to build a rapport with them. Taking your time to build that trust and that rapport with your client before even picking up your camera makes a huge difference in the photographs that you'll be able to capture. I've said many times before that when I go in and to take my clients' portraits, I don't pick up my camera until we're 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes even 2 hours into the photo shoot, because it's really important to me that I understand who they are. I understand their story, their journey, where they've come from, where they're going to, because all of this creates that emotional context for their photographs. Whether they're feeling strong and empowered, or whether they're doing something that is for their family that's going to become a family legacy. All of these emotional states are really, really important in order to capture those images for your clients that they will absolutely, absolutely love and adore. The other thing is that although yes, with portraits and photography, we tend to want to pose our clients in certain aspects and certain ways in order to try and capture them. I do that, but I set them up in a very traditional, almost master portrait style posing, and from there I then actually, instead of trying to force a pose out of them, because nobody ever feels comfortable in front of a camera. Nobody. Even to this day, not even me. I'm still not comfortable in front of a camera, but I do it. So in order to actually try it, instead of actually forcing the pose on them, if you guide their posing in a way that allows them to express who they are and capture their natural expressions, this is where the real emotions can actually come from. Because when you try to force a pose that's really unnatural, you can see it. They will tell you that it feels really, really awkward, that it's not something that, or a position that they're not used to. Well, okay, then change it. Change it. Start with the direct seating position. Seat them down, have them looking at the camera, and then while you've got them there, talk to them. As I'm talking to you, just generally talk to them to relax them, because they know that the camera's coming. They can see it, they're waiting for it. But if you distract their mind, and if you actually take a genuine interest in talking to them and allowing them to be who they are, they will naturally get into these incredible poses that you can capture, that they don't even know that they actually do that, because it's inherently natural to them and their body and the way that their body moves. And if you've got any questions with regards to portrait photography, please drop them in the comments below so that I can do my very best to answer them for you. Technique number 2, environmental storytelling. When it comes to the storytelling and the emotion of your client's story, really think about the choice of locations and where you're actually going to be doing the photo shoot, because the choice of the location, that can either enhance or contrast with your subject's or your client's emotional state. I've done photo shoots both outdoors. I've also done them in a studio setting. I've also done them in my clients' homes, because that's where they feel that they are the most comfortable. really think about, and this is a discussion that you have with your client about the choice of locations. Some people don't actually like the formal studio style portraits, and that is perfectly okay, because at the end of the day, you are there to give your clients what they actually want in their photographs. Another way to really lift the environmental storytelling in your portraits is to use lighting to amplify the mood, i.e., soft light can diffuse for vulnerability and minimalistic with your clients. And dramatic shadows can actually be used very well for intensity or to evoke a really strong type of mood or emotion or feeling that your client would like you to portray. For example, I have done a project that involved people coming in to have their tattoos photographed on their bodies, because tattoos are a storytelling in themselves. They are a permanent ink that is on a person's body that has a real emotional connection to who they are and the story that they have and the journey that they've come from. So when I was doing those photo shoots, I used really dramatic settings. I used really dramatic lighting, and I knew that the final outcomes were going to be done in black and white, so I could really lift the contrast in those photos. Technique number 3, technical intentionality. Now, what do I mean by technical intentionality? Well, that means that, one, you have to know your camera like you know your camera like you know your camera. I've said this before. This comes into play a lot with this technical side of the photography, because when you are selecting your aperture, you are making a conscious decision that's going to affect the way that that portrait or that photograph is going to come out and the emotion that that photograph is going to portray. So when you select your aperture deliberately, i.e., if you open it up really wide, you get these beautiful, dreamy, ethereal type portraits. And then if you step it down, you really hone in and you focus on your client's emotional state that they are in during their time spent with you during the portrait setting. Now, the other point of technical intentionality comes to the framing of your composition for your client. And by that, I mean the framing that either isolates emotion, so that makes it either minimalist, or creates an emotional context. And that's the environment. When it comes to the isolation of the minimalist look, like a lot of my portraiture work is done very minimalistic. I use very master's old type posing in my photographs. I also allow my clients to really create or understand who they are in their storytelling in order to get really gorgeous natural posing and the ways their body move. With the environment, are you going to be going outdoors? If you're going to be going outdoors, remember, you won't have much control over the light or the traffic or the people. So you need to have these considerations happening or thought about prior to doing your photo shoot, because all of this will impact in the storytelling and the emotional state of a person when they're in front of your camera. Remember, not everybody is comfortable in front of a camera, and if you are going to be doing it outdoors in an environment where there's going to be a lot of people, really think about that, because you won't be able to have a very intimate conversations and settings, intimate conversations with your client to really hone in on the emotions that they want to portray in their photographs. So I hope this answers the question of the feelings that you want to portray in your photographs and gives you some idea of some really deep thinking to think about in your concept planning and client planning for your photography. And like I said, please do like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next video.